Afternoon, everybody. Let me turn this up a little bit. So I thought that, one of the bright spots for us yesterday was just defensively, the first half, that was the most efficient that we played all year. We did some really good things. We did give up the shot play there before halftime, which hurt, but man, we just needed more of that in the second half. They got to continue down that road, until offensively we find some type of rhythm. They got to continue to play that way because they are getting better. But we started doing things that aren't us the way that we want to play defensively, and it caught up to us. And in the meantime, we couldn't recover or do enough offensively to get back in the game. So that's where we're at. Questions?
Justin, go ahead.
Hey, Dan, I don't think we've, seen you as angry or as agitated, however you want to put it, as you were, after yesterday's game. And so I'm curious how you go about resetting and finding the even keel that you need to approach this upcoming week.
Yeah, look, I think last night it takes a minute just to step away from it and and just calm down. Don't let your emotions play into it as you grade the tape. It takes me a minute, and then look at it with open eyes and somewhat of a clean slate, and take it for what it is, and not let your emotions overcome you. And so that's what I did. And look, you always got to find the positives in there, and you take that and you build from those. And I know this, we still go back to, and this is on me, but I go back to the fact it's like, okay, well, we're not doing this well, we're not doing this well. Well, all of that is irrelevant until we're able to clean up MAs and penalties that just shoot ourselves in the foot. We don't have a leg to stand on until we clean those up. Then let's figure out where we're at. Maybe now we're second 3 instead of second 17, which puts us in a better third down. So, you just, there again, you take the things you're doing well and you build on them, and you find ways to do things you're not doing so well, obviously much better. So that's what I'm charged with.
And I know you said you had hundreds of ideas bouncing around in your head on changes you can make. So as you kind of filtered through this tape and maybe even went back a little further, do you have any kind of immediate changes you're looking to implement, whether it's personnel or practice routines? Is there something you're looking to accomplish this week?
Yeah, I do. There's a couple of things, and it's I would say all of the above. I don't want to get too far into where that'll go as far as the roster, but we're looking at that. I think we're going to shake some things up here a little bit, and then as it pertains to practice, there's a couple of things that I have in my head as to which way I want to go with it, but I do want to change it up and see if I can get us into some type of there again, more of a rhythm or tempo early, just to get us going offensively and defensively. I mean, I said this yesterday, but this is what we wanted to come in this game and really come out of the gates, and we did not do that. We went the opposite way. And so I think there's some things in practice we have to do to at least see if we can supercharge ourselves somewhat.
Thank you, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Eric?
What's up, Coach? Eric Woodyard, ESPN.
Hey, Eric.
Sorry I couldn't have my face on, but question for you. Obviously,
your face is on. I'm looking at it right now.
My picture up there. So yeah, obviously, we talked a lot about golf yesterday, but I mean, from an emotional standpoint, it's going to be a big week for him. Obviously, going back to LA. As a coaching staff, how do you support him in this time? I mean, we know it was a tough game yesterday. Coming into this big game this week, as the coaching staff, just emotionally, how do you support him to get the best out of him and not let him get too up or too down when he's entering this situation he's never been in? I mean, guys can say over and over, it's just another game, but I'm sure you as a player, you understand. So how do you support him this week to get him back on track for this big game?
Yeah, I think, look, he's no different than anybody else as far as the last game. We coach him up on those things. And and the things he needs to improve in, his reads, the calls, whatever it may be. You coach him on those to get him better. And then as it pertains to this week, I think it's really, how do we give him the best plan possible to have success? Things that he really, really does well, and try to take some of the pressure off of him per se going into this week, and I would do that with anybody, not just him. Shoot, man, I remember last year it was the Tom Brady and Drew Brees deal, and you don't think a lot of it, but those two guys going at it, man, that was all that was being pushed that week, and it was a huge story. And sometimes you take it for granted. You don't realize the amount of pressure that those guys are under to perform against, you got two of the GOATs going after each other. So I know this is a little different, but in the same regard, I know it'll be a big story. And so how do we calm it down and just to where he can go and play fast and efficient, and us help him offensively, run game wise, play action, anything that we can do that's going to take a little bit off, and help him play fast.
Dave?
Hey, Dan, you kind of just mentioned this a little bit earlier, and you talked about it yesterday too, about creating tempo on offense, and said, maybe you had some ideas on that because it's so important to sort of find that rhythm. So I don't know, can you just maybe share a little bit of what you can do or what you're hoping to do in that regard, and why that's so important?
Yeah, I mean, look, well, it's important because when we're not in tempo, as of 2 weeks now, we've not done well. We really haven't. We stalled out. Minnesota, we started the game well. Now we turned the ball over, but we did move it. And at the end of the game, we moved it. But other than that, we just haven't done much unless we're in a 2-minute mode and we're kind of flowing. And so, I think we just need to be prepared to change it up a little bit. And there again, if we need to get out of the world of true called plays and they're one word, we're in a one-word system for what we do, and we're up to the ball, and we're functioning that way, then we'll do that. I think we just, whether we're calling what we call or we change the tempo, I just think that I think we need to start really experimenting with things like that.
Like tempo, are you talking about calling plays faster or just getting to the line earlier?
You're trying to pull out my whole game plan for the Rams, huh? Come on, Dave. Yeah, I think any and all the above. I mean, I think maybe there's a time where we don't need to be huddling. Maybe we need to just get back to the line and call everything at the line instead of huddling. I do think there's a place to huddle. I think there's a place to huddle, run a play, and then get right back to the line. I think that you got to keep tinkering with it, and you got to explore some of these things that we haven't quite done yet. I know this is now, some of it is because the defense is in more of a bend but don't break because we're down and behind. But some of our better production has been when we've been in 2-minute. We just get up there and go, and so it's hard to ignore that.
But what do you think? Just last thing, what do you think your offense is doing well right now?
Not much. Not much. We were running the ball pretty good. We'd get flushed out of the run a little bit, but I felt like it just, as the game went on, and particularly once we hit the second half, once we gave up that touchdown coming out of halftime, it really felt like, all right, now we got to go. We got to find a way to get something here offensively to produce some type of movement, and so we got flushed out of the run game, and and that's tough for us. I've said it before, we're throwing over 40 times a game, man. That's going to be tough for us to win.
Thank you.
Yep.
Corey?
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Good.
And so for the past few weeks, we've heard you and the coaching staff, shoulder, the blame for a lot of losses, putting the onus on your shoulders. Now, as a coach who has also been a player, is that something that you try to do, like take the blame yourself instead of, try to keep the criticism of what your players are doing wrong behind closed door? Like, is it hard finding that balance?
Yeah, but I think that it's, the players know they're being told and they realize it. They know when they mess up, and they're being held accountable as far as that's concerned. But I also do believe that we have a hand in this. We have a huge hand in this, and I still believe that whatever we have to do, whether it's putting somebody else in a position to maybe give them an opportunity to have success, or it's just the roster in general. How do we balance between special teams, O and D, and then inside of that, who are our best 11 and where do we play them and what do we do? I think we just keep tinkering and trying to find the best solution that we can. And, we're really no different than anybody else either. We're a new staff, and we're kind of learning and growing and working with each other here and figuring each other out. And the staff is no different than the players. That you have strengths and you have weaknesses, and how do you complement each other is something that we're also working with right now. So, it doesn't make anybody feel better, but that's the reality of it. I mean, we're having to get through some of these bumps and bruises and figure things out right now. And so we'll just keep tinkering and figure out what we can. We'll keep cropping the playbook or changing it. And if we have to go to nothing but tempo or on the line and not even huddle, we'll do that. If we can huddle, we'll huddle, and then we'll just build defensively off of what we've begun to start over the last 3 weeks here a little bit, or last couple. So,
Just to follow up with that, just from your time as a player, what message can you give to them to get through this, this tough road right now, this adversity they're facing?
Yeah, well, man, you got a job to do, and this game is the best game in the world, man. And it's a privilege to play it. And shoot, man, if I could go back right now, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'd give up a body part as long as that body part didn't affect the way I played football, but I would do it to go back and play again. And you miss it. You miss the locker room. You miss the competition. You miss the being on the road and you can't hear anything. And it's a hostile crowd, hostile environment. You miss that, man. And so it doesn't matter what it is. And at the end of the day, no matter what the record is, no matter how bad things may seem, somebody's going to line up across from you. And if that doesn't give you enough juice to want to win and to beat them and you're one-on-one, then you're in the wrong business.
Thanks a lot.
All right, time for two more. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Dan. It sounds like one of your big frustrations a lot of these weeks has been that you haven't been able to stick with the run game just because games have gotten away from you. And I know you were down, 17-20 early second half and had some false starts there. But I guess, can you guys be more, or would you like to be more stubborn with staying with the run game even when you're behind in the second half?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's a fine line, because if you feel like you're going to try to commit, and you get stuffed a couple of times, now you're forced into a 3rd and 8, and you're not very good on 3rd down, then you're going to wish you would have passed more. But it's a valid question, Chris. It is, and like yesterday, for example, I just felt like it was time for us to try to go tempo once we hit the second half, and to see if we could change something up. It didn't feel like anything was going our way. And really, I've said this before, it's really no different than, hey, man, you get some turnovers or you turn the ball over. It becomes contagious. And when you make mental errors and penalties offensively, we started to feed off each other from that negatively. And it snowballed and it just crushed us. And we got to be able to stamp that stuff out and find a way to hang in there to where we can stay inside the game plan, if you will.
And just real quick, you mentioned the missed assignments a few times yesterday and again today. Is that because is that why you want to scale down the playbook? Is that because you have new guys in the lineup? Like, what's the root cause of those issues?
Yeah, well, I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, I think that some of it certainly deals with some of the players. I mean, they're the ones who have it. I think it's also we can do a better job of coaching it and coaching the details of it and helping them. I think we can do better by the way we do, like, crop it. I mean, if that's what we have to do, and we got to crop it even more, we'll crop it even more. But I think everybody's got a hand in it, and they need to be held accountable. But so do we. At the end of the day, these are our guys, and we got to help them, and we got to help them have success.
Last one for Kyle.
Hey Dan, I got just a couple quick ones for you. I'm curious on Jerry Jacobs and the plan you guys had for him. Following Jamar there throughout much of the day. That's obviously a big ask of a rookie, and it seemed like Jerry handled it pretty well. A couple of shot plays, but otherwise, I don't know. He looked all right to me. I'm just curious about the plan with Jerry there and what you thought of the way he played.
Yeah, Jerry's getting better. And really, there was the one time that we didn't have help over the top was the big shot play in the second half. They found him and they got us a little bit, but Jerry is improving. He's competitive and he plays hard and he communicates well. And so, yeah, you take those two out, man, he's doing a pretty good job. He really is. And look, Derek Barnes, man, is doing pretty good. He's improving. Aleem McNeil is getting better. Tracy Walker is starting to get on this elevation right now. He's playing better. I thought Jonah Jackson did some good things. Austin Bryant, he wasn't in there a ton, but I thought he did some good things. So there's guys that are making improvement and are quietly just kind of coming into their own. They got to keep going, but so there's things in there. But yeah, but Jerry, look, we like where he's going, and he'll only get better with reps.
Yeah, there was some good performances there from the rookies on the defensive side. They'll see Matthew Stafford this week. I guess, I'm not sure how much tape you've watched yet on the Rams, but is there anything you can provide so far in what you've seen from Stafford and what the Rams are doing with him?
Yeah, I haven't watched, I brazed over first half earlier, but I haven't really done a deep dive. I know that, look, he's doing a dang good job out there. They're an explosive offense. He's a good quarterback. They got the best defensive player in the league over there. And so, look, this is another tough opponent, as is every week. But yeah, he's a good quarterback, and he's going to be it's going to be a huge challenge for us.
And last one, real quick, give an update on Charles Harris's injury situation.
Yeah, right now it's kind of an oblique, and it'll be day to day. We'll see where he's at.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
All right, thanks, guys. If you could hop off and read